Tikky, Pikky, boom, boom! An Anansi the Spider Trickster story. Once there was a tricky little spider named Anansi. Anansi loved playing tricks on his friends, but especially the lion, because the lion thought he was so smart and so tough. Anansi wanted to show him that he wasn't as tough as he thought. So one morning, Anansi took some magic seeds and went to the garden. He pushed away the soil and placed the seeds in the hole. Then he covered the soil, he watered it, and said the magic words. Tikky, Pikky, boom, boom. Tikky, Pikky, boom, boom. Tikky, Pikky, boom, boom, poof. Now normally, it takes seeds a very long time to grow, but these were magic seeds. And they began to wiggle. And they began to grow. And grow, and they stretched. And they stretched. And they stretched. And they gave a big yawn. And they looked around and saw that they were in nice, cozy dirt. So they curled back up and fell asleep. Anansi knew that they were ready to be dug up. So Anansi went to the lion's house. Knock, knock, knock. Oh, the lion was very grumpy because he had just woken up from a nap. So when he opened the door, he saw Anansi the spider, and he knew Anansi was always trying to trick him. So he said, "What do you want, Anansi?" "Well, I planted some yams in the garden, but I can't dig them up all by myself. If you dig them up, you can have as many as you like. Enjoy!" That Anansi is always trying to trick me. But wait a minute. I am so smart, and I am so tough. If I go to the garden and dig up those yams, I can eat them all by myself. So the lion picked up his shovel, and he strutted over to the garden, and he began to dig up those yams. The lion dug and dug and dug. The sound of the shovel woke up those sleeping yams. They looked this way. They looked that way. They looked down. And they looked up. And just as they saw the spade of the shovel coming at them, they moved. This made the lion very upset. He dug and he dug and he dug. Well, this made the lion very frustrated, and he lifted up his shovel and he smashed it down on that yam's head. Who hit me on my head? And the yam pointed at the lion and said, "Tikky, Pikky, boom, boom. Tikky, Pikky, boom, boom. Tikky, Pikky, boom, boom, poof." Well, that lion, who was usually so tough, was not as tough as he thought. He saw that talking yam, and he got so scared that he screamed. "Whoa!" And the yam screamed. "Ha!" And the lion ran. "Ah!" And the yam ran. Tikky, Pikky, boom, boom. Tikky, Pikky, boom, boom. Tikky, Pikky, boom, boom, poof. The lion ran and ran and ran and ran and ran and ran until he got to Mr. Dog's house. He said, "Please, Mr. Dog,
There's a yam chasing me. Please hide me.
And the dog said,
You can hide behind me, but you must not say a word.
So the lion hid behind Mr. Dog just as that yam was coming around the bend. Pikky, boom, boom, ticky, picky, boom, boom, ticky, picky, boom, boom, boof! And he stopped in front of the dog and said, Mr. Dog, have you seen that lion?
Nope, I have not seen him at all.
But that lion, he was so scared he couldn't help himself. As he hid behind Mr. Dog, he said, Oh, please, Mr. Dog,
please don't tell that yam where I am.
And the yam said, Aha! And the lion screamed.
Ah!
And the yam screamed. Ah! And the lion ran.
Ah!
And the yam ran. Ticky, picky, boom, boom, ticky, picky, boom, boom, ticky, picky, boom, boom, poof! The lion ran and ran and ran until he came to Mrs. Cat's house. Meow. When the lion got there, he said,
Please, Mrs. Cat, there's a yam chasing me. Please hide me.
Mrs. Cat said, Meow. You can hide behind me, but you must not say a word. Well, the lion quick hid behind Mrs. Cat just as that yam was coming around the corner. Boom, boom, ticky, picky, boom, boom, ticky, picky, boom, boom, boof. When the yam got to Mrs. Cat, he said, Mrs. Cat, have you seen that lion? Mrs. Cat said, Meow. Nope, I haven't seen him at all. But that lion was so scared, he couldn't help himself. He sat behind Mrs. Cat and said, Whoa, please, Mrs. Cat,
please don't tell that yam where I am.
And that yam said, Ha! And the lion screamed, Wah! And the yam screamed, Ha! And the lion ran, Ah! Ticky, picky, boom, boom, ticky, picky, boom, boom, ticky, picky, boom, boom, poof! That lion ran and ran and ran all the way to Mrs. Goat's house. Ah! When the lion reached Mrs. Goat's house, he said,
Please, Mrs. Goat, there is a yam chasing me. Oh, please hide me.
Mrs. Goat said, You can hide behind me, but you must not say a word. Well, the lion hid behind Mrs. Goat just as that yam came around the corner. Boom, ticky, picky, boom, boom, ticky, picky, boom, boom, poof! When he reached Mrs. Goat, he said, Mrs. Goat, have you seen that lion? Mrs. Goat said, Nope, I have not seen him at all. But that lion, he got so scared, he just couldn't help himself. You please, Mrs. Goat, please
don't tell that yam where I am.
And the yam said, Aha! And the lion screamed, Ah! And the yam screamed, Ah! And Mrs. Goat said, Wait a minute. You're supposed to eat your vegetables, not run away from them. So Mrs. Goat revved up, and she smashed that yam with her horns into 1,000,000 pieces.
Oh, thank you, Mrs. Goat, thank you. Please come to my house, and I will make you some delicious yam stew.
Okay. He went to Mrs. Cat's house.
Oh, Mrs. Cat, thank you so much for your help. Please come to my house for some yam stew.
Meow. It's dinner time. Then the lion went to Mr. Dog's house.
Oh, Mr. Dog, thank you for your help. Would you like to come to my house for some yam stew? Yup.
They all came to the lion's house, and the yam pieces were thrown into the pot with other delicious things to make a delicious yam stew. And they all helped to stir the pot. They stirred it until it was bubbling and smelled delicious. Then they took their bowl and drank it. It was the most delicious yam stew they had ever had. They took more. It was perfect.
That night, as everyone was sleeping in their bed, Mrs. Cat,
Meow.
Mr. Dog,
Bah.
Mrs. Goat, and Mr. Lion
So smart.
They heard something coming from their bellies. Tikky, Pikky, boom, boom. Tikky, Pikky, boom, boom. Tikky, Pikky, boom, boom, boof. Meow. Tikky, Pikky, boom, boom. Tikky, Pikky, boom, boom. Tikky, Pikky, boom, boom, boof. And way off in the distance, they heard Anansi laughing. The